Hey, what's up, guys? It's me once again. President Ramaphosa has been doing rounds with his Imbizos that he's been holding right throughout the country. He started these 16 months ago. Now, this past weekend, he was in the Eastern Cape in a place called Zondo. Let's tune in.
Forces thousands of residents from the Intsigayetu local municipality in the Eastern Cape's Chris Hani district came to voice their grievances to government leaders. Since the inception of the Imbizos 16 months ago, several projects have been established in a bid to better the lives of various communities across the country's 275 municipalities. The president did not mince his words, saying all projects must be completed or heads will roll.
Izawunyamalala iyaphela xa sibona ukuthi umasipala akasebenzi ama-projects kakuhle siyayivala imali njengoba echilo. So
Okay, I'm not sure if I'm understanding what the president means when he says the old way of doing things, lendlela yakudala, because I remember COVID-19 funding that was received from international donors being misused under his watch. I remember the Zondo Commission report stating categorically how many of his comrades have been implicated, up to 98, and some of them are in the NEC under his watch, and he has not done anything about it. So I'm not sure if I follow when he's saying lendlela yakudala of doing things, right? There's been an embezzlement of funds through procurement of tenders in Gauteng such that Babita Diakoran is no more. She was murdered precisely because she blew a whistle on this matter. Recently, as in a week and a half ago, we had a forensic auditor from eskom lamenting eskom's non-activity on the reports that she has sent as far as the board of eskom to report corruption that is taking place from some syndicates that are looting eskom, right? And how that now suddenly an Inkabi has been bought to kill her to the value of 400,000. Once again, we didn't hear the president saying anything about that. So for him to say lendlela yakudala, for me that is shocking, because I thought that that is a status quo. That's currently what is happening in our country right now. Crime is not being taken seriously. Whatever the ruling party wants to do, they somehow have an immunity to do it under his reign. But nevertheless, I could be overreacting. Let's hear him out.
but now the government has come to grips with what needs to be done, and we are going to be going ahead with development issues. The projects that had not been finished, we are reviving them.
He also told the residents that their water problem.
Before that, the president is saying the government has come to grips with what needs to be done. So effectively, it has taken the government of the African National Congress 29 solid years to come to grips with what needs to be done. I'm pointing these issues out so that we can ultimately, when we conclude, determine if indeed there is sincerity in this approach. Okay, let's listen in.
This will soon be a thing of the past, as government will allocate a further 6 billion rands to upgrading the Tomo Water Treatment Center, in addition to the 6 billion already spent. While the center currently services 171 villages, residents complain that there is often no water in their taps.
Now, this is a world-class water project in a rural.
Before we hear about the world-classness of the project, I think it is important to note that the lady, the anchor, just said that a 6 billion rands has already been spent in Tsomo water project. Unless I'm misunderstanding that, well, then we do obviously need to know the cost analysis of that in terms of the money that has been spent. Is the infrastructure currently reflective that 6 billion rands has been spent there already? Okay, we obviously need somebody from that municipality to point that out, even if it's Auditor General, to indicate whether or not that money was spent for its intended purpose before intending to spend another 6 billion. This is very important because this aspect of this Imbizo could just be nothing but electioneering and promises made for the purposes of comrades looting. Remember that. Let us proceed.
Area where the apartheid government never ever wanted to plant any development projects. It is now here in this deep rural area in Chris Hani district, and it is pumping 25 megaliters of water and is now going to improve that to 42 megaliters every day.
Meanwhile, the minister...
Amazing. The president just said the apartheid government had refused to pump in some money in the infrastructure in this region. Now, can I tell you something? Tsomo in the Eastern Cape happens to be in an area that belongs to what is known in South Africa as a former TBVC states, which is independent states. Now, Tsomo was in Transkei, or is in the area formerly known as Transkei. Transkei gained its independence in 1976. From 1976 to 1994, that's a good solid 18 years, if my arithmetic serves me well, right? From 1994 up until to date, that's a good 29 years. Next year is 30 years solid that the African National Congress has been in power. So Transkei has been in the hands of black people for 50 solid years, if you like. So it has nothing to do with apartheid if today they do not have the required infrastructure, because Matanzima took over in 1976. In Ciskei in 1981, LL Sebe took over. But let's not go to Ciskei, let's just focus at Tsomo. Tsomo is in Transkei, therefore it forms part of the area that would have been governed by black people at least 18 years before our democratic dispensation. Now, why is this important? This is important so that we can do an analysis whether the so-called comrades or our leaders, or what I normally call misleaders, are they misleading us or are they telling us the truth? This is very, very important. I can't emphasize it enough. Otherwise, people are going to find themselves in the streets, and I have no sympathy for people who go on the streets when they had voted wrongly, because there's no point. The worst form of, maybe it's not the worst form, your best form of weaponry that you have at your arsenal is your vote. So you have to use it wisely when you go to elections. You can't keep doing the same thing and yet expect different results. And if you've got relatives like myself who are in rural areas like Tsomo, it is very, very important for you to bring it to their attention what exactly is happening here, to investigate these narratives that the ruling party is putting before us 16 months or so before the elections. You see? Okay, now you'll obviously tell me if I'm over suspicious for no reason, or the president is genuine. Bantu Bonke Olomisa seems to think that this effort is a genuine effort and it cannot be attributed to electioneering. I don't necessarily know where did he get such much faith in the people that stole money of COVID, because it's the same people, okay? It's the same people. And bear in mind, the president himself is implicated in Phala. That has not been properly explained. For all we know, the dollars, remember that money is in foreign currency. And we know very well that the money that came here for COVID was also in foreign currency. Okay? So these are the things that have to beseech our minds as we are thinking about what are we going to do about these people whom we put in power to to be government. Are they accountable enough such that they need us to give them back power, or should we give them a contract where they co-share that power with others to remove the possibility of them being as corrupt as they have been for the past 30 years and introduce a new possibility of accountability, a possibility of people being sent to jail for when they have taken money with impunity, as the African National Congress has been doing and stealing for the past how many ever years that they've been in power. Okay, guys, that's my rant on that one. You'll tell me what you think. Do you think that I'm overcritical? Do you think that we need to give them a benefit of a doubt? Have we not given them adequate benefits of doubts? historically. Is 30 years. Some people will say 30 years is a short period of time to undo the damage that was done by apartheid. I want you to understand something. Apartheid started in South Africa in 1948. Before 1948, there was no apartheid in South Africa. And many people do not know that. Apartheid was formalized into law in 1948. So it's very, very important that when we look into these things, we ask ourselves questions. How long should we give a government for them? Because it seems to me there are so many theories that are emerging that the other political parties are not ready to govern. Better the devil that you know than the devil that you don't. Well, if this is a manner of speech that people want to speak, then they need to consider that when it comes to their voting. I'm just suspicious that the president is literally using the same strategy that his predecessors have used. He simply has upgraded it. You know what they used to do? They used to carry bags of milli and flour and take them to these areas. The president has simply upgraded on that. He's promising infrastructure development. The question is, will they deliver on it once they are in power beyond next year? But it's up to you. You tell me what you think. Do you think that they are making this up? Will they deliver? What do you think? Your views are important to me. Do not forget to like the video and subscribe. Have a lovely one. See you in the next video.